I feel like secondhand books can be a drug because of the smell.
Oh.
You get the books.
That when we walked in.
Yeah.
The first thing I said was like the smell in here. It just smells like
Yeah.
good.
You get the book and all you want to do is just like... and then it just feels like you've done a hit, but like of the most beautiful thing. You get transported into like this other person's life.
My name is Peter Budek and I am the proprietor of the Eagle Bookshop here in St Peter Street. We're now in our 31st year as a business, but for the first 28 years of that we were based in Castle Road in Bedford. I've always loved second-hand books, rare books. My mother, who's still alive, used to drag us into second-hand bookshops when we were young because she loved them too. And I remember kneeling on floors in this bookshop and that bookshop, being absolutely seduced by these wonderful old tomes. You just held these things that had antiquity, they had beauty, they had a chain of ownership, and you could pick them up for 50 pence or a pound. So I absolutely adored books as a youngster, and as I grew older and had to do sensible things like get a job, I realised that whatever I was doing, it wasn't quite what I really wanted to do. I was teaching for a while in Oxford, and during the holidays I came back to Bedford to see my parents, and I noticed a little shop was for sale in Castle Road. I thought it would make a jolly nice second-hand bookshop. And then when I got back to Oxford, I had quite a long walk into work. The walk took me past a little building which was being converted. There was a sign in the window saying opening soon, second-hand bookshop. And at the end of the teaching term, the shelves were all full and the bookshop was ready to launch. And it's so easy. I will definitely do it. It must be an omen. And that was the birth of the Eagle Bookshop in 1991. I was young, I had hair and I was slim. Something changed. Just beyond the horizon, above where maths is at the counter, you could also see wonderful old leather-bound books. So we offer everything. The old, the new, the expensive, the cheap and cheerful. Got all the books about Bedfordshire and Bedford. In this one area of the shop, we don't sell second-hand books, we sell new books. And these are all local authors. If they want to hold book launches or book signings, this is the shop for them. And this is the book, the book paradise, if you like. People who love old books, who love the feel of a country house library. This is where we've got the classic novels, books about the classic novelists, children's books from a bygone era. You will not believe how many children today love to see and love to handle what children read 100 years ago, 150 years ago. This holds all contemporary and older artists, books on the history of art, architecture, interior design, the decorative arts, music and the performing arts. So everything artistic is in this room. Ancient history and archaeology, Greek and Roman classics, primary historical sources, old newspapers and journals from the 18th and 19th century, peerages, registers of statesmen, dictionaries, histories. This is all the UK, Scotland and Wales here, Europe, the Middle East, and then Africa, Asia and Australasia and America. Peek through the hatch, you can see into the next little room over there, which is the leisure room. We have books on transport, motorsports, general sports, country sports, rural life, lots and lots of modern cookery books. We've got this lovely selection of vintage and antiquarian cookbooks. This little section here is almost all on philosophy. Why does a shop like this have so much philosophy? Why do we have more philosophy than any shop we think in the country? Because I like it. That's the reason. I can do what I like. It's my shop. Everything where you see these yellow stickers is either £1 or £2. It's a shop within a shop. These are antiquarian bargains. I mean, £5. Look at these wonderful things. These boxes here have just returned from a film set. We quite often supply books, 2 film sets. Andrew's doing a great job there, sorting everything out as it comes back to make sure that next time we're asked to supply a library from 1900, we can have exactly the right books ready for the film or television show. One of my favourite spaces as well, a room devoted just to the history and extraordinary achievements of science and technology. So we have books and we have a few little artefacts that again reflect my own personal interest. I love books that were there at the beginning of an invention. So I love early books on televisions or steam engines, whatever they are. If they're early in the history of the invention, I think they're great because you're connecting with the triumph of the past. Fantastic to put your hands on the object that first announced this to the world. So I love old science books.
Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Mafalda.
And what is your connection to the store?
I work here. I was fresh out of uni. I studied English and creative writing, and I had been working at multiple places for like about a year. I mailed Peter. I just poured my heart out to him and I said, I love this bookshop. I love books more than anything in the world. I would absolutely love to work here if you gave me the chance. And he said, okay, I'll see you next Wednesday for an interview. And I was like, my whole world stopped and I was like, oh my god, this is it, my dream come true, dream job, absolutely. You get to meet so many people, different ages and everything. You'll find that most people have books in common, no matter what their age. I've loved books, and I've encountered old people in their 70s and 80s who love them just as much as me, and we get to talk about it and share our experiences and our different points of views on each book, and it's just a fantastic experience. A lot of being vegan is about, trying to help the planet as much as you can. So to me, second bookshops are an essential for everyday life. I have so many books that I love, and years later I'll reread them and I'll look back and think, oh my god, Mafalda, what were you thinking? This is the trashiest thing I've ever read in my entire life. And I cannot look at that book anymore. I just have to get rid of it. But I know that somewhere there's going to be a little teenage girl like I was that's going to find that book and it's going to be like, I'm going to make my entire personality out of this. This is incredible. I've been a part of BookTube for a few years. I say that, but I post like once a year. sharing that love and passion for the books, for the stories, for the characters, for your everyday life. And there's so many people out there that would love to work in a space like this. It's very important to share it with other people, especially young people, as a reminder that your dreams can be big, your dreams can be small, but whatever you dream about, anything is possible. If you dream about just living a quiet life working at a bookshop, it's completely possible.
The Hand Me Down Book Club explains that opting for a used book over a new book results in less than 1/5 of the carbon emissions.
My name is Diogo Gomes. I'm the study skills manager at Bedford College. So I help students with research skills and how to do bibliographic references, but also in terms of academic writing and all that. I've always been a keen reader since very young, mostly novels first, and then of course had to read a lot for my studies. So yeah, I truly enjoy reading, still read that for pleasure now, and was also part of a book club, so absolutely love books. Yeah, I also love going into charity shops here, and the UK is brilliant for that. A lot of charity shops have a massive collection of secondhand books, so I go there quite often because also a way of helping. If a book exists as secondhand book, I will try and buy it. I know I need to be more sustainable, because even then I'm cheating, because I do it online. It's really convenient to do it online and to buy them from suppliers that you know, because you're looking for a book and they immediately give you the option if the book exists secondhand. It was always amazing when you went, and I did this also in Lisbon where I lived and now here, when you go in and just discover books that you can do. And at the moment I'm not doing that. I'm just much more, I read about this book in The Guardian or wherever, and so I'm going to try and find it and read it, instead of what was good before, when you went to especially secondhand bookshops, because you would find different variety than you do in a normal bookshop, because of course in there they usually have the ones that are the top at the moment, that you had that pleasure of discovering books you've never heard about, and you wouldn't find it any other way. So it has that magic to it, which I think it's really brilliant.
My name is Oliver Lombardi. I'm a business student at the Bedford College doing a level 3 course.
As I'm a workaholic,
and I can never step away on the laptop screen. Book club has made me realise that like I can have the enjoyment of learning something from a book. I have like anxiety and like a little bit of depression as well. I feel like books have brought me in a happy place basically. There's so much inspiration from other people taking the knowledge from a book and then bringing it all around the table. When I go to W.H. Smith, I find like so many high priced books. I'm only a student, I can't afford this. And then I found, my sister hit me up. She said, World of Books is the best source for second-hand books. It doesn't matter, it's second-hand, at least you're having the fulfillment of enjoying the book.
A 2020 article on Eco Bravo explains that book production requires the consumption of natural resources. Producing one book consumes about 2 kilowatts per hour of fossil fuel and around 7.5 kg of CO2.
Hi, my name is Chloe and I am a bookish content creator on TikTok and on Instagram. I use the username These Book Delights and I've gained just over 10,000 followers over both platforms. I post photos of books, videos about books, hyping up books for new releases, reviews of early copies that I may have received from publishers. Not only am I a massive reader, but I buy a lot of books, so I'm always wary of where I buy them from. I use Amazon, I use Waterstones. For second-hand books, I will use Wilder Books, which is an online second-hand bookstore, and they're normally very, very good quality books. You can get books that have got alternative covers. You can get like 4 for 20% off or something like that. From a book influencer kind of position, you can buy books from authors that are known to be problematic, authors that have perpetuated harmful stereotypes, and you're not giving them money, so you're not causing harm indirectly to communities that have been harmed by those authors' writing. Independent bookstores are also another great place to get books. I don't use independent bookstores as often as I'd like because there's no physical independent bookstore in my area, but I have been to a few and I have used a couple of online ones. A really good online one is Proud Geek and it's all LGBTQ, and the other 2 independent bookstores are in Manchester. One is called Queerlit and the other one is called the Gay Pride Bookshop.
17 of the top 100 selling books on Kindle are self-published books without the backing of a publishing house. What would you say your favourite book is?
So that's a very hard decision to make, and it's one that marked me a lot when I was a kid, although I read it probably too young. I reread it after. It's from a Portuguese author from the late 19th century, early 20th century. His name is Eça de Queiroz, and the book is called A Cidade e as Serras, which translates by The City and the Mountains. And yeah, I absolutely loved it because it's about like comparing the life in Paris of that time, because he was an ambassador there, with life in rural Portugal, and it's actually really funny as well.
Art in Senna. It's about a Formula 1 racing driver who won 3 world championships and how he impacted the sport. It's very impactful in my life and it's taught me so much in my life as well.
I don't really have a favourite book, I have favourite books. I should say The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by P.E. Schwab, since I do have a tattoo based on it. But I should also say These Violent Delights because my whole platform is named after the book. I can't answer what my favourite book is, I have way too many.
What would you say is your favourite book?
Oh my goodness, okay, this is probably gonna say so much about me. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I think I read that book at the right time in my life and at the right place. I just got like a glimpse of like some sanity and I was like, I get it. I get life.
Yeah.
For like a day. And then the next day I was like, oh my god, what am I doing for the rest of my life? But I think still to this day is one of the books that I still think about constantly.
I can tell you about our most valuable book if you like. Not only is it absolutely the most valuable book we've ever sold, but also gram for gram, or at least number of pounds per gram, I think it's unbeatable. I think it's several times the value of gold bullion, or probably as valuable as diamonds, because it was just a tiny little pamphlet. But it was written by somebody called Wilbur Wright, and it was printed in 1901, about a year and a half before he and his brother Orville got off the ground with powered aeroplanes, and he was describing his experiments with kites and with gliders, and he delivered a lecture about these experiments to a society of engineers in Ohio. After the lecture, it was written up and printed in just an issue of 100 copies, 50 of which went to Europe and 50 stayed in the States. And there were photographs and detailed descriptions of the wings they created and all their experiments up to the end of 1901. And by 1903, they were in the air with powered flight. So one of the most significant books in all aviation. Only 2 have ever been recorded, and ours was one of them. And it was in an envelope, tucked behind some books, in a garage, in a home full of antiquarian books. And it had been listed in a spreadsheet, and I'd spotted it on the spreadsheet, so I showed it to the owner of the books. I said, "Did you know you had this in your uncle's collection that you just inherited? This is worth more than everything else put together." And so it turned out to be. But I can't tell you the answer to how much, because it's probably a little bit confidential, but it was a lot of money.
Gosh, wow, that's incredible. Thank you so much, Peter.